Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 Truth to Sports coming to you with another segment. This is another preseason prediction for the Colorado versus Baylor game, and this is why Colorado will win this game. First of all, Baylor is 2-7, 3-9 overall from last year, 2-7 in the conference. Right now, they are a program in regression, and they're trying to come back up. It's been a few years since they've lived up to the expectations, and since they've been a contender in the Big 12 like they used to be. We always hear about Baylor and their powered offenses, and winning the Big 12, etc. Their 2-year starting quarterback that they had, Blake Sapan, he transferred to Mississippi State, which is in the SEC, of course. So they will miss that experience. But they did get a very good quarterback in return. This guy is good. His name is Daquan Finn. He was the quarterback at he was a transfer, but he was the quarterback at Toledo last year. He was a 3-year starter for them. He was named the MAC Player of the Year last year after throwing for more than 2,600 yards and 22 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Anything under 10 interceptions, I think, is good. His team did play in the MAC championship last year, even though they lost. But overall, they did go 8-0 in their conference. They went 11-3 overall last year. That's an exceptional record. He was only sacked 10 times last year, so he can avoid the rush. He can run a little bit, get away from those big guys, coming around the end. His highest yards in the game was against Eastern Michigan. That was with 407 yards, which was impressive. He threw for right under 7,000 yards and ran for over 1,000 yards while he was in the MAC. So this guy's going to be good. He won't be a pushover. He has experience, and he's a winner. And he's talented, so it will be something to look out for. Going into the running back room, they will have solid running backs that can run the ball, but their main guy right now that they have on top of the depth chart is Dominique Richardson. He's a projected starter. He ran for 500 yards last year, in the reserve role, of course, behind some other guys who was in front of him. Their running back room, they bring back five of their top receivers from last season, so they will have experience on that side on that offensive side of the ball. They're gonna have a very good quarterback who has experience and played at a high level and won. They have receivers who played last year and they played a lot on the field, and they're going to be ready. You have the one guy that you're gonna have to really watch is called Monterey Baldwin. He is their fastest receiver on the team. He led them in catches, and he also led with 600 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. And remember, you may be like, well, that's not great numbers, but it's also on a bad team, so we know how that can go. They do have a 4-star receiver named Keytron Jackson. He had 489 yards last year, so he's going to be there too. Tight end, they will have a tight end that they considered an elite tight end when you look him up and read him. His name is Michael Trigg. He transferred from Ole Miss. He did play at USC first, but he only played in 3 games at 3 games at Ole Miss after transferring from USC. And when they asked Kiffin about him, all he said was, we wish the best for him. He's not on our team anymore. And that's it. He didn't want to talk anymore about him. And we all know when that happens, that means things did not go well behind the scenes. So I don't know if it's an attitude problem or whatever. I don't know the kid. I don't want to judge him. But he has transferred from 2 schools, but they are big schools. He's transferred from Ole Miss and USC. And he coming out of high school, he was considered an elite tight end. So he's going to be a guy to watch. He's going to be a guy who's looking to reboot his career. The offensive line, they should be solid. They have a lot of solid transfers, so you can't really key in on one guy. There are going to be a lot of moving parts on the offensive line. The defense, they were one of the worst defenses in the Big 12 last year. They allowed 33 points per game on them, which of course is terrible. But that really goes into 2 parts. So that means the offense wasn't good and they wasn't scoring, or they wasn't keeping the opposing defense on the field. And then the defense probably, at a certain point just couldn't stop anybody. And obviously the offense wasn't helping them. But 33 points a game is terrible. They do have a new offensive coordinator who coached at LSU in 2019 when they won the national championship. So he does have championship pedigree, and he's obviously a good coach. He knows what it takes to win. They did lose 2 of their top pass rushers last year to graduation, and then they lost 2 of their interior linemen who had to medically retire in the spring. So prayers goes out to those guys. Anytime you have to finish or just stop or retire from a game that you love because your body's not holding up, that hurts you. The linebacking core. They will have a 6-year inside linebacker named Matt Jones, who's very good. He did lead the Bears with 82 tackles and finished tied for second on the team with 3 sacks. So he's pretty good. He's going to anchor their defense. The linebackers are the quarterback of the defense, so he will have experience, and he's obviously talented. They will also have a transfer linebacker named Keaton Thomas. He was a first-team all JUCO, first team all JUCO All-American last year. He was ranked second in JUCOs and tackles, and I know about transferring from JUCO to a D1 is an adjustment, so he's going to be adjusting, but it looks like he'll be adjusting on the field. They're going to put him right to work. So he won't have an experience, but he's obviously talented enough for Baylor to looks like they're going to start him. For the DBs and the defensive backs, they will have a corner called Caden Jenkins. He was an All-American as a freshman. His freshman year, he finished with 3 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries. So he's going to be pretty good. So that's about it for that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up with about 5 reasons. Again, to go back over why Colorado will win. One would be Shedeur be highly productive. He's going to put up big numbers this game against this new defensive coordinator. He's going to against his defense that struggled last year. They're going to all be coming back, but I just think he's going to exploit them. Put up big numbers, and again, because Baylor does have a new defensive coordinator, and they were one of the worst defenses in the Big 12 last year. They're going to all be adjusting. They have moving parts and new transfers. I call transfers moving parts. A lot of transfers that have come in, and it's going to be moving parts. They're going to have to get used to a new defensive coordinator. They're going to have to get used to running a new defense. New and different assignments, and confidence is also a thing. When you were that bad last year, it's hard for you to gain confidence unless you all are improving, and it's going to be early in the season, and that could really hamper them not having any confidence on the defensive side of the ball. Another reason Colorado will win is because they will be at home. If you hear my segments, the home crowd does matter, especially if the teams are even. But in this case, I don't think they're even. I think because Colorado's at home and because Shedeur's playing well and the crowd's going to be going crazy, it's going to probably be a televised game, and it's just going to be a crazy crowd there, and Shedeur's going to do what he has to do. And I ended again, and this is another main thing is I just don't think Baylor's a good team. I don't think they're that good right now. I'm not saying they won't be good by the end or the middle of the season, but this is still early in the season, and I think that they're just going to struggle overall. So after this game, CU will be 3-1 with another victory, and a victory at home, and then a victory on national television. It's been Hunt 919, Truth to Sports. Ride with me. It's been Hunt 919, Truth to Sports. Ride with me.